Hello there. What we've got here is an answer key video for the in-class activity that we were working on, this thing called the shortest path puzzle, and it says 6-2 on the top, but this is all about the substitution method for solving linear systems of linear equations. Okay, so you should have the sheet. It explains the directions right here, but the very first thing we have to do is to work through these problems A through S to try and find the ordered pair that would be the solution. And the ones that I decided I'm going to work through right now are the middle column right here, the B, E, H, K, N, and R. So you can follow along with those. Take notes, write down the work and the answers, and also use that as a tool for the rest of the worksheet itself. So I've got them right here. These are the ones that I'm going to do one at a time. And again, we're using that substitution method. So first of all, we're going to start with B. So we'll go with B first. B, we have two equations here. As it says right there, y equals 2x minus 19 and y equals 7. Now, you got to look for this first. You got to just determine make sure one of them or both of them is, at least one of them is solved for y, and then decide which one you want to use, or if you want, what you want to use to plug in for y in the other equation. Both of these are solved for y. And what we can do is, I'll just look at the first one then. Take this as y. This is equal to y. You can do it backwards too. You can take the 7 instead. But since that is equal to y, let's replace y with that in the other equation. So you have, if you do that, you do 2x minus 19 instead of y is equal to 7. And then you just solve for x. So a couple steps, you'd add 19 to both sides. You got to remember your steps for solving linear equations. This will cancel out. That's why we did it. So 2x equals 7 plus 19, which is 26. And then finally divide by 2 from both sides to get x equals 13. Okay, we're halfway there. We've got our x value, which is 13. We have to figure out the y value. So we can take that x value and plug it into, you just pick an equation. Say, I'm going to plug it in, well, it looks like there's not an x in that first one. I'm going to plug it in for this, sorry, the second one. We're going to plug it in for the first one just to check. So if you do y equals 2 instead of x, we're going to use 13 now, because we know x is 13 minus 19. So that would be 26 minus 19. And we know that y then equals 26 minus 19 is 7. And that's actually the same thing. If you look, some of these are like this. It was originally solved. We already had y equals 7 up here. So what you can do is you can plug it in like we just did to check to make sure y is always equal to 7. And we have the second half of our answer, which is 7. Okay, that's the answer for B. You ordered pair 13, 7. And then on your worksheet, you can go ahead and graph that up here on 13 and 7. All right, next one. I'm going to take this and I'm going to erase this all. I hope you have it down by now. And we're going to work through letter E. So, letter E, we have y equals negative x plus 13 and y equals 4. So if you look like we had last time where it said y equals 7, we knew the y value would be 7. This time we know the y value is going to have to be 4, but we can do the work to check. So first, take your what y is equal to. It says y is equal to negative x plus 13, and put it in for the other y. So instead of having a y there, we're going to have negative x plus 13, and for y equals this 4. So again, solving for x, you can note here that if there's a negative x or just nothing in front of the x, it's actually a 1 that should be, so it's negative 1x. And we're going to take this and, sorry, not add 13. We're going to subtract since it already is addition. And we have to do that to the right side as well. So that'll cancel out here. You have negative 1x equals 4 minus 13 is negative 9. If you divide both sides by -1, you should end up with x equals +9. So we can put +9 in for our ordered pair for the x, and then figure out what the y is. And we're hoping y is 4, because that's what it says in this equation right here. But what I'll do is plug it in for the other one, just to make sure. So if you plug it in there, you'd have y equals negative, instead of x, we're doing 9, plus 13. And -9 plus 13 is indeed equal to 4. So our y is 4. Okay, we have our x, we have our y. There's the solution, we're done. So we've got letter E. All right, and then you can plot that on your sheet. So let's go ahead and delete that. Hopefully you have the work written down. We're going to work now with letter H. So this one, letter H, if you look at H, we have y equals 2x plus 2, y equals x plus 7. Now both of them have x in them, so we don't yet know the number for x or the number for y, but we'll follow the same steps. I'll use purple this time. We're going to take y is equal to 2x plus 2. We know that. So instead of y in this other equation, we're going to use 2x plus 2. So we'll say 2x plus 2 equals x plus 7. Okay? And then we just solve for x. So following our steps, we want to first of all try and get the x terms all on one side. So let's get rid of it from the right side. We'll subtract a 1x here. Remember, that's a 1. Subtract a 1x here. So then you have to subtract 1x on the left side. Cancels out. You have 7 left over here. And you have 2x minus 1x is 1x, or just simply x plus 2 equals 7. And then the only other step, since x is already by itself, we have that 1x. We just have to subtract 2 from both sides, since it's plus here, to cancel out that plus 2. And x equals 5. Okay, that was the hard part. Now we can take that, and I'll show you over here that our x is going to be equal to 5 in our ordered pair. Now take that again, that 5, and plug it in for the x of one of these equations. You can plug it in for both to make sure you did it right. I'm just going to plug it in for one and say y equals, instead of x, we're going to say 5 plus 7, and that means y equals 12. Okay, you could also plug it in. I'll show it right here, how you can plug it in for the other one on one of these. So you can say, instead of y equals 2x plus 2, we'll have y equals 2 times, instead of x, we'll have 5 plus 2, which would be 10 plus 2, which would mean y equals 12. So we do have that y equals 12, no matter what. So our y value is 12, and we have our ordered pair, and you can plot that on the graph. 512 would be the solution to our system for H. All right, I'm going to take a look at that, get rid of that. Whoops, apologize. We're going to now work at letter K. Letter K, we've got y equals 8, and y equals 10x plus 8. So, just like before, let's see, we have y solved for in the top one. So let's take that 8 and plug it in. We're going to plug it in right here, in for the y, and you have your new equation would be 8 equals 10x plus 8, instead of y equals 10x plus 8. And solving for x, let's subtract 8 from both sides. you end up with that cancels out, and you have 8 minus 8 is 0 equals 10x. And then to solve for x, you divide by 10. And that would mean that x is equal to 0 over 10, which is 0. So here we've got 0 for our x. And we just have to figure out the y. So let's take that. And it actually says y equals 8, so it should be equal to 8. Let's take that 0 and plug it in for right here and check that way. So y equals 10 times 0 plus 8, which would be 0 plus 8. And that means that y is equal to 8 because 0 plus 8 is 8. There we go. We are done with 4, and if you look, we've only been at this for 10 minutes. 2 more, get it done in a couple minutes here. Once you get the hang of this, it should come more easily for you. So letter N. Let's look at letter N now. So for N, we have y equals 7x minus 11 and y equals 2x minus 1. This is more closely similar to the letter H, where we still, y still equals 2 or 7x, whatever this is. It says 7x minus 11. We still take that and plug it in for y. Even though there's x's in both of them, that's fine. We're going to solve for x that way. So instead of y, we're going to use 7x minus 11 equals this 2x minus 1. And we're going to follow some steps to solving for x. So first of all, get the x's on one side. So let's get rid of them from this side, how about? So that they stay positive. Cancel the 2x out. Minus 2x there would be 5x minus 11 equals negative 1. Now, if you recall, we want to do PEMDAS in reverse still. There's still some subtraction we can undo by adding 11. And if you add 11 and negative 1 over on the right side, you should end up with positive 10. This will cancel out, equals 5x. Finish it off by dividing both sides by 5 to get x equals 10 over 5, which is 2. So we've got our x value. Just have to find the y. And let's take that x value and plug it in for either equation. I'll plug it in for that x right there. So instead of y equals 2x minus 1, we'll have y equals 2 times 2 minus 1, which is equal to 4 minus 1, or y equals 3. And you can check that by plugging in for the top one as well, and it would be 7 times 2, which is 14, minus 11, which is also 3. So we have our y value of 3. And then plot that on your worksheet, and then we're going to finish it off now with letter R. So letter R, let's see how we do letter R. So letter R, we have y equals 4x. You might be getting the hang of this already, and you might want to say, I'm not going to rewrite it. You might say that I'm going to plug in this 4x minus 16 in for y, so that I would have 4x minus 16 equals 2x minus 8. To solve for x, we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. Get rid of the x from one side, and we have 2x minus 16 equals negative 8, because that negative goes, or that subtraction turns into a negative there. Add 16 to both sides. You have 2x over here equals negative 8 plus 16 will get you to positive 8. And then divide by 2 to get x equals 4. Now that 4, again, we can take that, plug that in for either equation. We'll plug it in right there. And when you do that, you will have y equals 2 times 4, so that's what x is equal to, minus 8, which just happens to be 8 minus 8, or y equals 0. So we have our x, we have our y. We have our ordered pair, which would be x is 4, y is 0, and there's your solution. So I hope this short video helps you work through some problems from the worksheet entitled, which is from Substitution, entitled The Shortest Path Puzzle. And hopefully that'll help you to finish some of the rest of those and plot those and try to get your answer. Okay? Any questions on that, you can refer back to Mr. Pouts, but this video should be a good help for you. Enjoy!